Veritas Reassurance, October 8, 2016. By Steve Becko. Very seldom is there a post from someone in a position to know what's happening with the revel, who writes in a neutral manner, Pro. Veritas claims to be one of the behind-the-scenes people working near the top, on the revel. Our informant says we would recognize their name. He offers a very useful view of what's occurring. Veritas, Dinar Chronicles, October 7, 2016. Webpage, Intel Dinar Chronicles, @blogspot.com. I am one of the behind-the-scenes people that is in a position to know many details, particularly of this final step in the GCR implementation. I noticed today that there are many negative comments of disbelief, scam and other doubts. I must beg to differ and voice a more reasonable stance. First, if you are one of those who had the courage to take a step and spend hard-earned income on currency, I commend you. Perhaps you did it without scrutiny. Perhaps you have had a lot since then. My name is one that you would easily recognize if you live inside the United States and perhaps outside as well. I have spent the last 2 years disappearing from the internet and the public in preparation for the GCR. You may wish that you were one of the people at the top that has it so easy since they know everything. I want to reassure you. I want to reassure you that being at the top doesn't make it any easier. I too have lost family members over this. Divorce, claims that I am crazy, demands that I stop. If you are experiencing that, please know that you are not alone. If you have lost income due to working on or for this cause, I commend you again. It takes rare insight to take a risk such as this appears. Not everyone can take it or maintain it. You did. I have also sacrificed years of income so that our focus at the top is 100%. It has been so long. Have you ever done anything else that has required so much of you? It has taken and demanded the highest level of dedication, all through the organization, top and bottom as they say. The greatest illness in our group is heart attacks. Sound familiar? I do not see you as the bottom. I see an army of dedicated, loyal, devoted people who did this not just for the risk, but for a reason and motive that sustains them over this intense and difficult time. Is it harder to not know every detail or harder to know and not be able to share? It isn't easy when there is suffering up and down the line, including desperate medical situations, loss of a place to live, lost income or lost opportunities. Many of us have watched as some of the most dedicated have even lost their lives before they got to see this come to a final resolution. Nothing hits harder. If you had any idea of the number of people that have died at the top to make this happen, you would never believe it. These people will never be known or recognized. Their sacrifice was anonymous, yet it took all they had to offer. This is not a small event. This is probably one of the greatest events in history. Why? Because of people just like you. This event is based upon faith, daring, risk-taking and gut feel. Millions of people worldwide are involved at the grassroots level. You may have been thinking how strange it is that no one knows what is happening, but that is not true. Millions do know. Millions are prepared. Millions are planning major projects designed to fix, repair and prevent damage to the earth. You are part of an army. Nasara is the basis of a change as significant as when our country was first founded. How radical was it to break away from England? Unheard of at the time. So is it so unimaginable that our military and protectors might enact and support a change that reverts to the original constitutional basis of our country's founding? After all, we are Americans. In a greater sense, we are all world citizens. Isn't it obvious that if we don't support this change at this time that it may be too late to fix it later? In that sense, we all need to do our part. If you have had the courage and calm and dedication thus far, then doesn't it stand to reason that now is the time for that last little bit of belief? If you were going to disbelieve, criticize and belittle, well, why not do that on the beginning and skip the rest? If you have worked hard at understanding what is occurring, then you surely realize that we are at the very end of an enormous change. Sure, we all want to know the exact moment. We all want it simply to be real. Well, that is why I wrote today. It is very real. The ending has already begun. Many are already being paid, you simply don't know them. Transactions for Tier 2 alone are very numerous. Major class action lawsuits are finally paying out. These good people are keeping things quiet as they have been requested to do. It may be easier for them as they see it as a wrong being righted and they don't need that outside confirmation. Tier 3 is well underway. What does that mean? The Admirals Group is processing now. Somewhere between the beginning of that process and the completion of it, the 800 registration number will be released. The Admirals Group signals the beginning of Tier 3. So, you're very close. Oh? You want me to be more specific? To understand, you need to clearly understand the term, hydrating. This is a new term specific to the new computer system utilizing CIPS. It refers to the final step of matching the digital record of funds to the actual physical asset, which in this case is the gold. Just as a check can be deposited in your account and held for a certain period of time, the new USN and TRN currencies can be input with an activation date. They can also be set up to be released upon receipt of special authorization codes or simply be indicated active immediately. Here is what is happening starting now and through this weekend. 1. From the beginning, historical bonds and boxes redemption has been tied to the same release schedule as the currency exchange. They often bounce back and forth, one ready, then the other ready, etc. The status on bonds right now is that certain releases will go out at the same time as the Admirals Group and the 800 reservation number lets loose. Those two events will be very close together. Certain specialty releases will only occur after the Tier 3 hydration is totally complete. The tabletops are complete, they are fully ready. They are just waiting to coordinate release at the same time. 2. Now, for hydration. Tier 1 and 2, including the class action lawsuits, are all done. They are all set for the release date. Tier 3 is hydrating right now, including the Admirals Group and other individuals and small groups. That should be finished well before the first banking day next week. 3. You surely want to know the timing of the 800 reservation number? Like everyone else, I am not allowed to tell you exactly. I can tell you that it can occur at any time, now that the hydration process has begun for Tier 3. This is where you play an important part. Many of you are ZIM holders, am I right? Though the internet groups are a relatively small portion of the total number of people exchanging, most of you have prepared by purchasing ZIM. Smart move. The ZIM is the key. It represents the real heart of the humanitarian project concept, which is the underlying purpose. The ZIM is the highest priority to remove from play. They must come in first and quickly. You can rest assured that you will have a great opportunity because of them. You should also realize that the urgency around the exchange centers on the ZIM. In order to prevent reinvestment on the historical bond and box side, the ZIM will have a short, quick window at the same time that the bonds go. I know that you are tired of waiting. I know that you are tired of hearing of one delay after another. I sympathize greatly. It is not much fun for anyone from top to bottom. It may help to look at the logical sequence of it all. It may help to realize that it is a process that makes sense. We are now so close that if you follow the logic presented here, you will figure out that Tuesday is the first banking day when all of these factors come together. Also realize that it is a sequence and one logical piece happens after another. While this has led to delays in the past, this time it will be in your favor as the final dominoes fall into place one after another. The end result is usable funds. It is my purpose to reassure you that everything is going very well and that it will all be just as it should be. Let's reassure each other, brother to brother, and stay calm and soothing to others around us. You have it in you. That 800 reservation number has to show up pretty soon if appointments are going to get set before the release on the next baking day. Be encouraged. It is time to focus on preparation, not stress. If it turns out to need an extra day, don't let it disturb you. Know that it is coming. If you had any idea that there are thousands of people doing everything they possibly can to bring this to completion, you will be the new keepers of peace. You will be the healers of our modern time. Start by healing your mind from the stress. Let it all go. It is, or it isn't. You cannot influence it at all. Anger does not make it come. Peace will give you energy to deal with the final release. I assure you that your new life of caring and concern for others is beginning. Watch and see. Veritas.